Who wins the right field job? Let's look at Oscar Colas's numbers from 2022 in the minor leagues.
They were good.
They were good. Not only was he in AAA for a wee bit, but he tore up Birmingham and he tore up Winston-Salem. 526 plate appearances, 23 home runs, a 7.2 walk percent, 22.8 K percent, a slash line of 314, 371, and 524, and a weighted runs created plus of 137. Again, pretty good. Not too bad. I would love if Oscar Colas brought 23 home runs to the White Sox in 2022. What are we looking?
2023.
Oh, 2023.
23
right.
and 23. That's what you're looking for.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Would lead the league or lead the team in 2022. But with Colas, like, are we expecting him to hit the ground running? And if he doesn't have a blistering spring training where he's hitting bombs left and right, like Yoelqui Cespedes and Mike Rodolfo were last year, like, does he not win the job? If he has an average year, does he win the job? Is it dependent on what Rick Hahn says tomorrow? I mean, what are we basing the judgments off of? Is it strictly play?
Yeah, well, I mean, let's put it this way. Right now, I think we think of the way of Oscar Colas the way we do, as the favorite to win this job because of what Rick and Pedro have both said throughout the winter. And I don't think that we have any reason to change that thought process unless they were to say something different, but I'm not sure why they would after spending the entire offseason talking him up. I would say that he would have to struggle mightily in order to not make the opening day roster. But I think there's a variety of things that could happen depending on his play and also the play of Gavin Sheets, to be perfectly honest, because it's not out of the realm of possibility that he could have a very good spring training. I think Oscar Colas is the favorite to get a basically an everyday job, to start the majority of the games in right field for the White Sox this season. But I don't think it's very difficult to see a situation playing out where on opening day it's a timeshare, right? Because Colas didn't do as great as everybody thought he was going to do, and Gavin had a really great spring, or wow, Gavin really blew it all away and deserves the time out there, deserves playing time, so we're going to cut it up in right field. And then on top of all of it, remember that Pedro Grifol apparently wants Eloy Jimenez to spend a couple days a week in right field. Yeah. So all of that going leads me to believe that there are several outcomes in which there is no everyday right fielder for this team, and which it is a timeshare between 2 or 3 players. That all being said, though, all eyes are going to be on Colas because of those numbers that you just showed, because of the way the front office and Pedro have been talking him up this winter, and because he just seems like he could be a pretty good player, and he seems like the kind of guy who could go out there and win a starting right field job.
Well, and he's not the age that Andrew Vaughn was when he was debuting in 2021.
Yeah, he's like 24 now. So I think Oscar Colas, and I've said this many times, his best scenario is him spending a majority of the time in the minor leagues. It's because he's only had, 500 plate appearances down in stateside. Mm-hmm. Just by comparison, Eloy had 1,800. Robert had 927. Sheets had 1,500. Tim had 1,500. The only player you can point to, and you've alluded to it, is Andrew Vaughn. But we know the pandemic in 2020 kind of cut off his minor league season that he would have had that year. He only had 227 plate appearances there. And we saw the jump he made was, he was ready for it, but also he's hit that wall at the end of the year and also injured.
Mickey Madrigal only had about 200 more.
Well, but here
Madrigal's not good either.
It's an interesting comparison, though, and I think I'd bring this up this way. Think of the way that Rick and Pedro have talked about Colas this offseason. It reminds you of the way they talked about Andrew Vaughn and the way they talked about Nick Madrigal during their very brief minor league careers. Not really the same way they talked about Eloy Jimenez or Luis Robert. Obviously, they thought those guys were tremendous talents, and they were talking up their long-term future. Mm-hmm. But rarely did we hear, we're going to spring training, and these guys are going to get a shot to win this job, and yet, we're hearing them talk about Colas very similar to the way they talked about Vaughn, the way they talked about Madrigal, different than Robert and Eloy, which makes me believe, to take them at their word that they think he's ready for this sort of thing.
They gave Andrew Vaughn, Joe Borchard, and Jim Thomey's number.
They did it.
But come on.
You don't just get Joe Borchard's number.
You don't just
get
Joe Borchard's number.
I was listening to a recent episode of Future Sox with James Fox and Mike Rankin, and a guy who was in the comments today, Sleepy Harold, was on that show. And I kind of agree with him. Like, what it happens, like, in the first couple months where Oscar Colas makes the team, and he's the everyday guy. He's the guy. And then he has a horrid April and a horrid May.
And it could happen.
Sending him back down, that's not what they like to do.
No.
It's not where it's at. And I would like for him to push the envelope, to make them like, he's undeniable down there. He's killing the ball at Charlotte. He's murdering, and to put all that pressure on this young player, and I know he's 24, so it's not as young as a typical rookie. It's a lot of pressure on him to, hey, can you repeat the 23 home runs you did in the minor leagues through 3 different levels?
He doesn't have to repeat it.
Yeah, pretty much he has to. He's a right fielder.
If he doesn't hit 20 home runs, no White Sox hit 20 home runs last year. I mean, if he,
that was
exactly,
bad.
I know
exactly.
that was bad, but
exactly,
if
he's a right fielder.
If he's one of 8 guys who hits 10 home runs, that's very
bad.
good.
That's bad. If your everyday right fielder only hits 10 home runs, that's bad.
Okay, but what if him and Gavin Sheets combined hit 25?
I don't want a platoon. They're both left-handed hitters. Why are we doing
worked
platoon?
in 2021 when they won 93 games in the division in 2021.
That's the results of a thing that the process wasn't correct. I want whoever wins it to win it and go ahead and do your job. I don't want a platoon with 2 lefties. That makes no sense to me. Either you guys are going to do it with one of them or the other one.
A platoon, but maybe Gavin's more ready to handle a workload in April and May.
Start him. And then have Oscar Colas go in Charlotte and just murder the ball. And if Gavin Sheets ever finds a lull, Oscar Colas comes up and he's the guy. But the 1 year of production, good. But you put on there the 22% strikeout rate. That's going to increase probably in the major leagues. His eye right now is not that great. 7% walk rate. Those things are not great. In MLB, he's going to be challenged with things that he wasn't challenged with down in the minor leagues. And to put all that pressure, everything on that one player to perform is going to be huge. A lot of White Sox fans are out here putting him as the Rookie of the Year candidate. That's a lot of pressure on him. I don't care if he's hitting 7th, 8th, or 9th. It's a lot of pressure for the kid.
Our guy John put Rookie of the Year on DraftKings equals money for Colas. I got it at 22-1. Right now it's at 16-1 if you do want to dabble. But again, it's not like Oscar Colas is coming from college ball. It's not like he's coming from overseas strictly. Like it's not like he's coming from where Luis and Eloy were coming from at their points in Cuba and the DR. Like he's coming from the Japanese league. Like he is coming from a true, like
the minor leagues in Japan.
Yeah, I mean, and he had some, I think, a small brief appearances for the upper league as well for SoftBank.
Not for the Hiroshima Carp.
No, but
that's on Matt. That's my guy Matt Davidson
for the
doing work.
I think, I'm pretty
the
sure.
Hawks, right?
Yeah,
SoftBank Hawks.
He had 7 games. It was 7 games. But that's at the AAA level because there was about a 7.9 age difference compared to where the other one is. Well, when's the Winter League?
And that's another thing, Sean. Like he's had 7 games above AA with his brief appearances in AAA at Charlotte. There's nothing wrong with him getting seasoning, with him proving to you that he's ready, that he's hitting the ceiling. Right now, you don't know.
What if he proves it in spring training? Like, I mean, if he has a great month, I'm not against it. He's nearly 25 years old. He has enough plate appearances where I think that, why not? He has about 1,250 plate appearances in kind of minor league ball at this point. It's not like it's 750 for Nick Madrigal. Like he's 24. He's more developed than what these guys were.
And we didn't have this show back then, but I told people Nick Madrigal is not going to be anything special. That's where he is. I would like for him to push the envelope and let him decide that he's ready for it. Not, hey, we didn't go out and get any people because we think you're the guy. They don't know if he's the guy. They think he's the guy. But so many people out here, prognosticators, are thinking like he has a hole in his swing, that he has things that are wrong with him that will be exploited, especially low and inside balls will be exploited at the major league level. I don't want that to happen. I want him to get the experience in minor leagues so they can have a full year of, okay, I'm adjusting to you. What are you going to adjust to me? I don't want that at the major leagues.
Yeah, 12 strikeouts to 2 walks in Charlotte in the 33 plate appearances down late in the season. All right, let's look at his batted ball profile just real quick, Steven. I do just want to show this and then at least compare it to what the team did in 2022. So he had a BABIP of 378. Again, that's just talking about how hard he's hitting the ball. But again, it's partly luck. It's partly, slicing balls weakly off lefties and just trying to make contact. A line drive rate of 23.8%. The team last year was at 19.2%, so a little bit more than the team average in 2022. His fly ball rate, 30.8%, lower than the team average at 35.4%. His home run to fly ball ratio was very good, though, at 20.9% compared to the Sox at 9.7%. So when ball in air, that was good for Oscar Colas.
We got to talk about these Futures game jerseys, too, by the way.
I don't like them.
So
They're terrible.
The All-Star game was at Dodger Stadium last year, right? Why is it half orange?
I don't know.
That looks like it should be a Tigers themed All-Star game jerseys. Also, it looks like when the parents of kids that are playing each other on two different teams have the half jersey of one team and the
Like
half
the Nolas.
of the other. It looks ridiculous.
This was the national.
Those still are
league.
terrible,
Those
too.
are
It's like a
teal.
weird, yeah.
The Dodgers aren't teal.
I don't know.
Nor are they orange.
Yeah.
The Dodgers are paying homage to the Giants and the Marlins.
I'm not sure. Hey, I didn't design them. I also think they are weird. But yeah, his when ball was in the air, ball was good for Oscar Colas. And then if you want to pull that back up, Steven, sorry. The pull percentage for Colas was 42.5%. For the White Sox, 38.4%. We talked about with Benintendi last year. We want to see him pull the ball more, and he did that in Yankee Stadium. Oscar Colas, especially against righties, will definitely be pulling the ball a little bit more. Opposite field, Sox were going to the opposite field about 26.2% of the time. Colas doing that about 31.8% of the time. And again, I think that is boosted by his job against lefties. And then swinging strike percentage, 15%. The White Sox as a team were at 11.7. So you would expect his K rate of 22.8 to go up, absolutely. I think he could afford to be at a 30% K rate. That's fine. I mean,
He can't hit
That's a
those
lot
10,
of strikeouts.
He can't hit those 10 home runs like you're projecting. He's got to hit. He's got to hit
we have-
20 plus.
We have a projection here. I don't know if he's got to hit 20 plus.
Oh,
I
if
think
he's
that's
striking out
ridiculous.
30% of the time, yeah.
How are we jumping from a team that had one player reach 17 to Oscar Colas hitting 20?
Because I'm not
let's
judging.
slow the brakes real quick.
I'm not judging
No.
on 2022.
Okay,
I
but
told you I'm throwing that all away.
What if he has a
That was
slugging
terrible
percentage
year.
of 450 and he has 15 home runs? Like he hits like 40 doubles. Is that bad?
No, it's not bad. But
But
I'm
he has
saying
to hit 20 home runs?
if he's striking out 30% of the time, batting that much, he's got to at least be selling out for power.
Right. So if he hits 55 extra base hits and strikes out 30% of the time, I'll take that.
Yes,
That's
but
what
you're
I'm
judging.
saying.
But you're judging it on the 2022 season as if that 2022 season is something to judge
I'm
off
saying
of.
that you saying Oscar Colas to hit 20 home runs is ridiculous. I don't think he needs to hit 20 home runs in 2023.
No, I'm saying 30% of the strikeouts. If he's striking out that
Okay.
much, you better be selling out for power. You're not just hitting singles.
Again, I agree. I agree. Again, I was basing it on the slugging percentage and then maybe the extra the doubles. My bad.
I'll say this.
I missed the point.
We talked to Herb's point. We talked endlessly about how much this team needed to add power this offseason. They let Jose Abreu go. They added Andrew Benintendi, and they're going to start Romy Gonzalez at second base. So in terms of adding power to this team, Oscar Colas is most of it, if not all of it.
Andrew Vaughn.
Huh?
Andrew Vaughn
was already on the team.
Yeah, but now he's playing first base, so now he's got to hit.
So he's going to hit 60 home runs?
Apparently, that's what he has to do. He has to hit 35, and Eloy Jimenez has to hit 74.
He'd hit his number.
He would.
Yeah.
Let's go.
That'd be a record too.
To Oscar Colas' 2023 projections, just real quick. Projected to hit 16 home runs and 440 plate appearances. Walk rate of 5.8%. K rate of 24.1%. Slash line of 255, 304, 423, weighted runs created plus of 104, and an F4 of 1. So that would be disappointing, Herb.
Very much so. Yeah, he's getting that many plate appearances. He's only a one win player. No, I can't have that. I got to have him. If you're doing that little with the bat, then why are you in right field? Gavin Sheets can do that and more. Given 440 plate appearances.
Possibly. I mean, I don't know. They are just projections.
I understand.
We'll
Do you
see.
not think that Gavin can do that?
No, I think Gavin can do that.
Easily.
I don't think your point was wrong.
Yeah.
We saw. I think Gavin showed
Now
that.
the one win won't be the same because he'll be playing right field too. So that'll be dragging that other part down.
What do you mean?
Gavin Sheets is a terrible right fielder.
Oh, yeah. Gavin with a 1 WAR last year, 100 weighted runs created plus, though. But, yeah, the slash line was kind of similar, a little bit worse on the OBP, a little bit worse on the slugging. But that was basically Gavin Sheets last year. So, hey, maybe they have Gavin Sheets too. But I think it's just, a little bit more higher of them. I mean, Oscar Colas has proven that every single level that he has gone, he has been able to smash the ball, hit the ball with authority. I don't think that he's going to flop to the level where we're thinking, oh, Gavin Sheets would have been just as doable. I think he's better than Gavin Sheets at this current moment, and that's why we see Rick Hahn talking this highly about Oscar Colas. I don't think he's talking about Oscar Colas this highly because it's the only, person walking into the shop, right? So not like you're the greatest customer because you're the only customer I have.
Yeah. But they always talk about small sample sizes. He spent less than 60 games at all the levels last year. Like, that's the smallest of sample sizes. Why not give him extra and let him prove you right? It's only a couple months, and maybe you get to surpass the Super 2 deadline with a player that might not be as good as Gavin Sheets. At least you know what you're going to get from Gavin Sheets for the most part. I don't know what I'm going to get from Oscar Colas.
And that's why it's one of the biggest questions of spring training.
Yes. There you go.